Power Rangers Battle for the Grid has been out for a while, and I have to say, it's an amazing game. I love everything about it, except for one thing. The roster has only 9 characters, with 3 free DLC characters. So today, I'm going to discuss my top 10 choices of Power Rangers protagonists I want to see join the Battle for the Grid roster. And yes, I'm working on a follow-up list for antagonists as well. For this list, I want to try and limit it to 1 character per generation. This way I can try and get more diversity into the roster. Also, don't expect much, if any, on notes on how I think these characters work in the game. I'm mostly just picking Rangers that I think are cool and would like to see better represented. That being said, let's talk about the top 10 Power Rangers characters I want to see in the Battle for the Grid roster. Number 10. Dino Charge Purple Ranger. Kendall Morgan was an interesting character. She was the beginning de facto leader of the Dino Charge team, and she was the second member of an exclusive club of Purple Rangers. And Battle for the Grid even points out how she shares a last name with Lost Galaxy Pink's Kendrick Morgan. And there may be a connection. Oh lord, please let there be a connection, that would be really cool! My only complaint with her is that she was rarely used that much as a Ranger, and more as a behind-the-team support character. Wasted potential as fuck. I personally thought her Ranger design was cool and tied with my favorite of the group, Riley, as a Velociraptor Ranger. She really deserves a chance to redeem herself for how underused she was, and a slot in this roster could do that for her. She, like most contenders on this list, was playable in Legacy Wars for iOS and Android devices, so that already gives them a starting position to design her if they do decide to put her in the game. Number 9. RPM Blue. Scottish boys ready to fight! Time to let this underrated Ranger take to the battlefield and show the world why you shouldn't underestimate him. RPM Blue is not available in Legacy Wars, whereas Gamma RPM Silver was. But honestly, of the RPM Rangers, he was one of my favorites, mostly due to this scene.
I'm Scottish!
If RPM Blue was in the game, I feel he would work as a heavy hitter, considering his weapon is a cannon and his vehicle animal is a bear. Since he wasn't in Legacy Wars, I really don't feel like he has a good shot at getting in. But if Mastodon Sentry and Dragon Army Trini, who weren't in Legacy Wars, got in, then who knows, maybe he could make it in. Number 8. Zeo Gold. Behold, one of the few things I actually liked about Zeo. This was one of the first of many Gold Rangers, and the peak of Jason Scott's potential in the Ranger universe. And considering how broken Red Ranger is right now, I think we need some Gold Ranger power to bring him down a notch. Zeo Gold is a fan favorite Gold Ranger and holds a special place in many people's hearts who grew up with the franchise. Considering Zeo Gold's status as the original Gold Ranger, I feel like he does deserve a better chance than others that getting in this game. Plus, he's Zeo Gold. What are we supposed to say? He's freaking Zeo Gold! Number 7. Lauren Shiba, Samurai Red. I always wanted to see the title of Red Ranger to be held up by a woman, and Lauren Shiba was the first to hold that title. And not be evil. Lauren Shiba is in the same boat as Kendall Morgan, where they are underused and I want to see more of them. What makes me want her more is the potential she can bring. From the use of her sword to her Zenbato, I feel like she would offer an interesting style of play to the game that I don't think Kendall or a lot of other Rangers could bring. Number 6. Power Rangers in Space Red Ranger. Power Rangers in Space was an awesome season. It gave us a great story as well as Andros, one of the best Red Rangers to this day. Of all the protagonists of Space, Andros will always be the most iconic in my eyes. With how important Space is to not just fans, but the series as a whole, the game will need some representation from Space. And since Andros is playable in Legacy Wars, again, I feel it's a good chance of getting in. And with Battle of the Grid's story following the events of the Shattered Grid comic, Andros is an important character who will need to be introduced in this game one way or another. Number 5. Phantom Ranger. While an underused character from Turbo, Phantom Ranger was an amazing character who really needs more attention, like a solo comic line, like Tommy Oliver's Path of the Dragon. But until then, he should get a spot in this game's roster. Phantom Ranger was a powerful ally of the Rangers, and like Kendall Morgan, is playable in Legacy Wars, and deserves an opportunity to redeem just how underused he was. Number 4. Dino Thunder White. Originally, this bout was a tie between Dino Thunder Black and Dino Thunder White, but there's one factor that gives Trent a leg up, and that's that he isn't Tommy Oliver. Tommy is already the Green Ranger and Lord Draken, and I have a feeling that Tommy's White Ranger will soon be joining the roster at some point, and I don't want this roster to mostly consist of just Tommy Oliver. Outside of that, Dino Thunder White is a brutal and vicious White Ranger. If there was an all-out death battle between Power Rangers, I feel that he would either win or last until the final few. Number 3. Time Force Pink Ranger. Time Force is one of the best seasons of Power Rangers, and Jen Scott was a powerful female leader. Jen was the true leader of the Time Force Rangers, and she deserves a spot on the Battle of the Grid roster. Additionally, Jen Scott plays an important role in the story of Shattered Grid, so it feels like she will be a necessity for the roster. While only a few Rangers hold the title for Best Pink Ranger, Jen Scott is no joke, and if she makes it into this game, I will smite anyone who disobeys the laws of Time Force. Number 2. RJ the Purple Jungle Fury Ranger. Honestly, any of the Jungle Fury characters deserve the spot. Hell, if I didn't have my limit restriction, I'd probably make half this list Jungle Fury. With their big emphasis on martial arts and kung fu, all of this season's Rangers would probably make it in. However, if we could only have one, I would have to pick my favorite, RJ. RJ was the first Purple Ranger, and he used his Spirit of the Wolf to become a complete badass. If RJ makes it into this foul roster, he will show the world what happens if you touch his chair. But if it's way too much to ask anyway, could you please put all the Jungle Fury Rangers in? There's only 5 of them, it's not that many. Number 1. Dino Charge Dark Ranger. I know what you're thinking. Navi, what gives? You already have a Dino Charge Ranger on this list. Why is there another? Well, yes, Heckle's Dark Ranger technically belongs to Dino Charge, but he didn't really make his debut until Shattered Grid, so I'm viewing him as a comic-exclusive Ranger as opposed to a Dino Charge Ranger. Additionally, Death Ryuger from Kyoryuger was an intimidating beast of a final boss. So intimidating, Saban thought it best to port Kyoryuger over without bringing one of the coolest Sentai Evil Rangers ever. And I think it's time for these puny Rangers to see what happens when you overlook the Dark Energym's full potential. All hail the Dark Energym, and beware the wrath of the Dark Ranger. Thank you guys for watching my video and just hearing me gush about Power Rangers for Lord knows how long this video is. Please hit subscribe and like and comment on this video to help support the channel. Please check out some of my other content, like my Hat in Time review, or some of my gameplay, like my Earthbound Glitch video. Yeah, that was a thing. I'll see you all in my next video. This is GamingNavi, signing off.